Hi friends, my name is Akil Ahmed, and in this particular video I will show you how to use the Foreach loop container with Enumerator. Enumerator is used when we want to loop through a particular data set from a SQL Server table. In that particular case we can use the Enumerator. So for example, we have a table in the Adventure 2014 database person.address. In this particular table we have a column city and it has values for different cities. So if you try to find the distinct cities in this particular table, then you will notice that there are 575 records. So we have around 575 different cities in this particular table. So in this particular video I will show you how to export data from this particular table to a CSV file based on the value of the city. For each city, data for that particular city will be exported to a CSV file. So let's see how we can do that. So first of all, we will select the distinct cities from this particular table, and then we will export data for that particular city into a CSV file. So this thing we will do using the Foreach loop container Enumerator. Okay, so first of all, let's create a couple of variables. Those will be used inside the Foreach loop containers. So first variable will be obj city and change the data type to object. We are taking the data type as object because it will store the distinct cities from the SQL Server table. So there will be a number of cities in this particular variable, so that's why we are taking it as an object. And then there will be a column city which will be of type string, and you can name it as maybe New York. Again, one more column. Then another column will be file path. Okay, so this particular SSIS variable will store the location of the file that we are going to export. So the location will be C files and maybe New York .csv. So this particular obj city SSIS variable will actually store the total number of cities, and then the city will store the current value of the city that the SSIS variable will store inside a Foreach loop container. And then file path will store the current path of the file that we are going to write data to. Okay, so first of all, let's drag and drop the execute SQL task into the control flow window, and then rename it get distinct cities. And then from the connection manager, make a connection to the Adventure 2014 database, and under the SQL statement just copy this particular query, select distinct city from the address table, and then the result set will be full result set as we are going to return all data from this particular query. And then the result set name will be 0 for first variable, and the variable we will choose is object variable. Remember, whenever you return the full result set, you need to choose the object type of variable that can store the data. And then it's time to drag and drop the Foreach loop container into the control flow task, connect execute SQL task with the Foreach loop container, and then configure the Foreach loop container. Under the connections, go to the enumerator, choose the Enumerator. Enumerator is used to loop through the particular data set. And then from this particular object source variable, choose the object city because this is the variable that contains all the cities. And then under the variable mappings, choose the city string variable that will store the current value of the city at a particular moment. Click OK. So we have configured our Foreach loop container. Now it's time to configure a data flow task that can export data from a SQL Server table to the CSV file. So just drag and drop a data flow task to the for each loop container, and then rename it as export data to CSV files. Double click it, and then as we are going to read data from a SQL Server table, so we will be using a OLEDB source for that particular purpose. Right click and edit the OLEDB source. Connection is already made to the AdventureWorks database. From the data access mode, choose SQL command, and then under the SQL command, as we are going to read data for a particular city, so just put a where clause. For example, data will look like this, data will be read like this when the package will run. So for example, for Yakima city there are 96 records, so just copy this particular query inside the SQL command, and from in place of the Yakima, the question mark, so the value of the city will come from a parameter. So under the variables, choose the city variable, because city variable will store a particular city name at the moment, and the param direction will be input. Okay, navigate to columns, so you can see the list of available columns with us here. So for this particular exercise, I am going to remove the special location, because special contains the image, it contains the image data type, and we can't put that particular data into a flat file. Click OK. So we have configured our OLEDB source successfully. Now it's time to configure our flat file destination. So just drag and drop the flat file destination from SSIS toolbox into the data flow task. Double click flat file destination to make a connection to the CSV file. Click new and choose the format as delimited. Click OK, and then browse to the file, CSV file, where we want to export our CSV files to. So we will be exporting our files to this particular location. So maybe you can name it as test.csv, and then from here just choose the test.csv. Under the text qualifier, put a double quotes, because we want our columns to be surrounded by double quotes text qualifier, and then click column names in the first data row. So in each of the file, the first line will be the header line, and then go to the column. So these are the columns that's going to be inserted to a CSV file. Click OK. Go to the mappings. So now columns from source have been mapped with the destination automatically. In case any column is not mapped, then you can map it by yourself as well. Click OK. At the moment, the connection of the flat file is static. We need to make it dynamic, because right now the flat file connection is pointing to C files test.csv. So we need to make it dynamic, so when the SSIS package will run, the value of this flat file connection will change as well. So there is a property connection string that needs to be changed as per the data flow, as per the for each loop container. So go to the expressions. So whenever we need to assign the values dynamically, we need to assign the value of a property through expression. So choose the connection string property, and then go to the expressions. Our file name should be look like C file. So this is the name of, this is the location of the folder, and then the file name will come from a city variable. So for example, if our city name is New York, then file name will be newyork.csv. Okay, so this will be the file name. Click OK. Okay, so now we have configured our flat file destination dynamically. Then go to the control flow. Now our SSIS package is complete. You can just simply click on the start button and can execute this. So it should read the distinct values of the city from this particular execute SQL task, and then inside the for each loop container, data will be exported for each particular city to different CSV files. So the package will run for a couple of minutes, as there are around 575 files those needs to be created. Okay, so our SSIS package is complete, it has been executed, and now let's verify whether it has exported the CSV files for each particular city into the C files folder. So you can see that it has exported files for each of the city, and it should have data in it. For example, this should have more data in it, and 107 lines, and maybe this particular table for Tana, this should have less data. It has just one record. First line is header, and another one is the actual data. So thanks guys for watching the video, and if you like the video then please click the like button and do subscribe to our channel to see more videos on SSIS. Thank you.